This year's workshop is The Revenge of Vlad's Revenge, which is a sequel to my first workshop game, The Revenge of Vlad. It will be made in Godot 4.2 and is inspired by the arcade classic Rampage and its modern reimaginings such as Terror of Hemosaurus and Laser Lizard. The story is actually a follow-up to my first workshop game, in which Vlad, Aaron's bat character, is so upset that nobody is buying his game that he decides to build a giant robot suit and destroy a city. In this game, the military is after Vlad for revenge on what he did to said city, hence the name. The game loop is as follows. Once you start the game, Vlad will be spawned on the left of the screen. He must start moving to the right and eventually starts being attacked by the military units. He must destroy them to try to get to the end of the level. If he dies or the timer runs out, the game resets, and if he reaches the end of the level, he will win. The main mechanics of the game include his movement, which is mostly just basic platformer movement, where he can move left, right, and jump. However, the jump is a little different. He actually has to charge up his jump, and once it's released, the longer that you charged it for, the higher the jump will be. For combat, Vlad will have a few attacks, including a basic punch, a laser eye projectile that will be aimed with the mouse, a sonic scream, which is an area of effect attack, and when he lands from a jump, it will do damage to the surrounding environment. His health will be chipped away at by enemies or stage hazards, but it can be regained by destroying buildings, as since Vlad is a vampire bat, he regains life through the blood of his enemies. The level will be a very long cityscape, with a large cave at the end that will act like the castles at the end of a Mario level. Enemies will be different kinds of military units, such as tanks and planes. They will shoot projectiles at Vlad that will not only damage him, but the buildings in the line of fire. So not only do they hurt Vlad, but they also hurt his resources. If Vlad's health reaches 0 or the timer runs out, he will die and the level will reset. The only way for him to win is to reach the cave at the end of the level. The camera will follow Vlad to the right, but not to the left or up. It will also enclose him with invisible walls, forcing him to keep going right. Building destruction will be simple. Buildings will have health. Every hit they take, they will lose some of that health and they'll shake a little bit. Once their health reaches 0, they will crumble and leave behind a rubble sprite. Art will be made by a friend of mine who is actually outside of the program called Co. I was, of course, given permission to collaborate with people outside of the program. Art will be made in the software stick nodes and will have a simple flat 2D aesthetic. So far, we have the player sprite, which is the Vlad Mech 2.0. And finally, for sound and music will be chiptune and will get more and more intense as the level goes on to signify the timer running out. And sound effects will be simple 8-bit sounds made in sfxer.me. That will be this year's project, and I am really excited to get it started.